But the poor white man lived in the hands of them all of the Jews. He's God in his stew. When they start by the rule that the laws are with him to protect his white skin and keep up his head so he never thinks straight about the shape that he's in, but it ain't him to blame. It's only a from the poverty shacks, he looks from the cracks to the tracks.
This is Captain Johnny, Captain Springfield Johnny, and this is the Authentic Being Show. Okay, well, we've been talking about suicide notes, someone putting a gun to the back of my head, the gun was firing, seeing God, seeing angels, Ivan and Michael going off to plant Flinia, mating with the Queen of Flinia and getting the Flinian kiss. Well, that's a euphemism for LSD. And I really realize, see, since Charles J. Shields went in there with his bioclinic people and they just extracted the whole hippie starship, great slick thing, White Rabbit, right out of the history of Kurt Vonnegut. See, they went right to the planet Trafalgar, into the dome, and took Vonnegut away from Montana. Hack. What's your? You know, that's a travesty. You know, it's like, oh, no one wants to recall their bad acid trips. You know, no one wants to. You know, they're grown up now. They're, you know, they had children. You know, they got away from LSD and, you know, and Lucy and the Sky with Diamonds and, you know, and going to the film where they got away from that, you know. And that old man, Vonnegut, he doesn't want to have that left behind his Vonnegut that he tripped with Grace Slick, you know. Or are they trying to make some deal, you know, about this Starship thing, you know, album, rock, you know, rock thing, you know. You know, that's, of course that's what Vonnegut said. Charles, you know, please don't let them relate me to Grace Slick, you know, please would you just take that out of my life? You know, people, you know, it's bad, it's evil, you know. I wish I'd never met that woman. you know, but that's, you know, Selena, you know, the queen of the Flinian planet there, you know. Would you just kind of write out that whole history? It was badness, you know. People want to forget about those terrible times, you know. You know, do everybody a big favor and just not write about it, you know. Just kind of gloss this thing over. You know, and this guy says he's an historian, you know, and he's gathered all these other historians to write these bios, and, you know, they got Pulitzer Prizes and everything, you know. And to me it's on par with, well, you know, Hitler and those Nazis really made those poor Germans look bad, you know. You know, why don't we just go in there and just remove Hitler and throw it away, the Nazi? Oh, and those death camps, they never happened. It's incredible to me, you know. And Shields had no idea, you know, he was mocking me, you know. He had no idea until he saw my blog. I've got over 2,000 entries, and they're extensive histories, you know, of the Bohemian people before LSD, before Grace Slick. You know, Kurt Vonnegut's grandfather, Clemens, was a freethinker, Turner Society, as were two of my great-grandfathers, the 48ers, that had this revolution, socialist revolution, in Europe, fighting the Catholic Habsburgs. See, and you could tell. I mean, you know, when you look at Charles's photograph, it's put the white collar on him, you know, and you could see that this was a you know, one of these Catholic people, you know, love to take some prongs and stick them up a woman's vagina and open them up. You know, this is an inquisitor, see. You know, he's going to, you know, cleanse the bad children of the evil outside information, you know, that is threatening the Catholic Church. This is him. And he's going after my Bohemian compatriots. And he's, you know, taking that hot pliers in there and, you know, extracting great slick. To hell with thee! And now he's going to go after Lucia Joyce. I mean, it's amazing, see. See, but he's dealing with this face, see, these genetics, you know. Gonna build the pyramid! Gonna build the starship! You know? See, this is the genetics that it's Teutonic Knights, see. I come descend from Teutonic Knights with the Stoopmeisters. See? You've got a province up there in Estonia called Stoopmeister. And the Teutonic Knights went up there and divided, you know, Estonia up amongst themselves, the great houses. Well, I'm one of those great houses. Lived on Berlin Way, remember Berlin Way, on the road Esplanade up to Charlottenburg Castle. Stoopmeister means horsemaster. Okay? And when I went riding with my father, horseback riding, they brought him a horse, the guy that owned the stable out there in Half Moon Bay. Starts bringing my father out a horse. He says, take that back. I don't want that horse. Get me a real horse. You know. And he brings another horse. My father says, listen, you know, I'll pay you another $50, you know, if you bring me the meanest, toughest horse you got. And I said, well, there is this horse, you know. He brings out this beautiful white stallion. And no sooner has he put the saddle on it than my father's up on the saddle, tearing towards the dunes, towards the sea. And I couldn't keep up with him. And I'm a good rider. See, you know, it's this, you know, when I was young, I loved to play war. I had my own, the Cheetahs, you know, my own gang. When you were younger, we used to play army and stuff and make you know, I was the general. And there's this whole psychic thing that goes on with being a general and being from this genetic material. The Prussians, we're talking about the Prussians and Teutonic Knights. You know, these are the people that make Hitler look good. You know, he was a sniveling little wimp ass, you know, with a stupid little ideology. You know, I hate Jews. Well, what else he got to show me, wimp ass? You know. So he gets around all these Prussian generals. You know, with us. You know, and there's this oozing, you know, leadership. You know, okay, you know, point out the enemy, we'll go get him. You know, that's what they do. They're hardwired that way. You know, I mean, I would have made a great soldier. See, I understood this when the Vietnam War started, and when I took my first LSD trip, I put on a aviator's hat, like your Jefferson airplane. I had an apple and a shotgun shell. I said, what do? Do I become a warrior or a man of peace? You know. Well, there's also a rabbi in me. You know. So, and then some Moravian blood. You know. It's a potent combination. And when you take LSD, it brings that out. It literally goes into your DNA memory. You know. You know. What is that coming up? See? I see that I'm really going to have to do that one morning. Is take you on an LSD trip, as I recall it. You know, not as I'm experiencing it, because those films never come out, because there's just no way you can focus reality to, you know, in a black and white duality way that understands it, that it will translate to someone watching one. So I'll try to assimilate it, because I think it's important, because who I am and what my generation was doing what my history is being wiped out by the bioclinic people. You know, so they want to erase that from themselves. See, you know, they don't want their grandchildren to know that they tripped, you know, at the Fillmore, you know. You know, lest they go, hey, Grandma, you know, I just took some acid like you did when, you know, in 1965. You know, oh, call the police, call the ambulance, you know. So everybody wants to wipe that out. So, but it's real history. As a historian, that's crime, see. It's not like, oh, I must save the LSD generation, you know. My brothers and sisters, you know, we're being picked on, oh, you know, yeah, that's the Christian thing, you know. You know, oh, why is everybody crucifying me, and and that's their point. See, oh God, I'm just like him, you know. Well, you're not just like him. You ain't like him. See, but then everything else that comes in, real history, real politics, and stuff, it all goes through that filter. Oh, I'm miserably persecuted, you know. So it's the persecution filter. And good historians can't do that. See, this is the big rule that Charles broke. You know, you can't interject your own, oh, why me? I'm so persecuted. You know, well, we all are. This is the prisoner planet, and we're stuck here, you know, and it's really not a bad place. It's beautiful. But for some reason, we're stuck with this, you know, why does my brother want to come behind me, hit me on the head with a rock? Oh, Cain, he's such a bastard. Well, it's Cain and Abel stuff, you know, the duality, you know. And so it goes, you know. So you take LSD, you try to hold on to these things, you know. Oh, this black and this white, good and evil, Cain and Abel, you know, mommy, daddy, the communists, you know, the American patriot eagle, you know, against the swastika. You know, these things are really easy for people to grasp because it's a dumb duality, and therefore it's an illusion. And so we take LSD, this duality stuff starts to break down, begins to play off each other, you know. And you're holding on, you know, things are coming, you know, you're holding on to these realities that are being disintegrated. This LSD goes into your brain, you know. All these synapses in your brain are firing at different sequences, random. It starts going, you know, firing random. And reality, as you know, it disintegrates. But they're your synapses. See, there's nothing in the pill, you know, that gives you anything, you know. And this is what Charles J. Shields, this is his stance. He should have actually taken a dose of LSD before he eliminated it from Vonnegut's being. He should have actually taken a trip. You know, we'll go into him putting down Vonnegut's meeting with Jefferson Starship in detail, because it's really key how propagandists, you know, work. It's a good example, very good example. So, in that state, it's a good idea to have a guide. In the beginning, we read from the Tibetan Book of the Dead to each other. One person would remain straight and not under the influence of LSD to help guide another person or other people. And just reading from the Book of the Dead was a way to start bringing these shattered synapses back together again. And that's when it could get good. And if you got good at this, you could bring reality as you used to know it back into a new form. And you're really drawing upon memories, genetic memories that could be very, very beautiful, very wonderful. And this is the cosmic experience that a lot of people were experiencing. A lot of them weren't. A lot of them were having a very bad time. And the original hippies were working hard to help these people. A lot of them were coming in by the tens of thousands, 1,000 a month were coming in from all over the country and the world to be a part of this. I'm 20 years old, and dealing with a reality of a situation that has no precedent. There's nothing in the history books to fall upon. There's nothing in the religious books to fall upon, and explain what's going on. So you're literally building a new cosmology and way of life and religion from scratch, literally scratch. And it's that construction, that creative construction, that can't be thrown away. This is what I've been trying to preserve since I basically quit taking it in 1967 and spoke out against it. So when I started writing my science fiction books, that was part of that process. And when I went for a psychic reading after I got to Serenity Lane, got sober, my first girlfriend, Marilyn, who still lives up here, friends today, she heard that I was going back to the Bay Area, and she said, you've got to go to the Berkeley Psych Institute and get a reading. I said, well, I don't really believe in that, I don't buy into that. It's illusionary. She says, no, this is different. So I go. It's a 2-hour reading with a 20-minute break in between. And I'm sitting there. There's these two readers with a guide in the back. He's making notes and drawing my aura, colors on a rook. They see you as a rose or a stem. And the first thing that happens is this young girl. She's about 21, and she's got her eye closed and she's agitated. And the guy says, what's wrong? And she says, it's his mother. She's right in my face, and she's really angry, and she doesn't want me to read her son. And the guy looks at this, and he said, we'll put up a white light, a shield. And she puts up the white shield, and she's still agitated. And she says she's really, really upset. He said, well, put up another shield, and he laughed, There's no LSD, drugs, or anything going on here. I'm going, whoa, that's Rosemary. That's how Rosemary was. Even this fake biographer begins that Rosemary wanted me to be a famous artist at 4 years old, and, she didn't want Christine to be a famous artist at 3 years old, So you couldn't put me and Christine in the same room on LSD. Her husband did this because he was with me when I was tripping separately, and he'd been tripping with Christine. He was a member of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. And so when he brought me and my sister together, it was like, See, we were very psychic and very close before we ever took drugs. So they get my mother out of the scene, and then they start the reading, and this young girl says, you own your own creation, you died. You own your own creation, you died. Immediately, I thought about my fall on the clearest beach on a powerful dose of LSD. So I knew these people, I knew the manufacturers. Through Nancy, I knew Owsley, not close, but he'd come over. He was dating Nancy. And he brought Nick Sands over, and Nancy and Christine and Nick Sands and Owsley went on a double date. So I was always getting the new batch, the new experiment. So we took it on Curtis Beach, and I fell on this rock. And we'll do that later. So in 1986, I'm writing University Hotel about Elfine coming to Earth. And she looks, I got a drawing of her, I have to show that, and she looks very much like the, Avatar, the young woman on this planet, In Avatar, she's got the tail, very, she's like a cheetah, very long, tall, and, lithe, form. She's 16 years old. And she's out there watching cartoons with her father, Ivan, the Russian, Red, who's doing Steinbeck. He's become a Steinbeck character. He's like really, this is his dream, is to run his creation through Steinbeck and be Steinbeck and be in those novels and stuff like that. And now he's got this creature, lying on her stomach in front of his TV, watching these crazy cartoons that she can't get enough of them. She's, her eyes are like, and she, assimilating, they're just taking her into a different reality, than any human being's got, and she's getting things out of it, that we humans can't. She sees something in there, these little critters running around, these little mice and stuff, and, I'll eliminate that next time. I gotta learn to pause. So, I don't know at this time that I've got a 2-year-old daughter. In 1987, the psychic said, you've got 2 children. There's 2 leaves on your rose stem, but they're very faint. Do you know why? I said, yeah, I don't have any children. Well, I did. And they saw one of them very faintly because I had no knowledge of them, of her. I had some idea that she existed, but it was only a little clue. And then there was another clue that I had about my son, which I believe I have 2 children. But again, I never met them. I never saw them. I never bonded with them. So, one night I had a dream. 1999. And my angel introduces me to my daughter. Whew. What a dream. And I know when I have these real dreams versus illusionary dreams, because there's a clarity, a real clarity to them. And I call up my detective friend, Michael, who worked for Bill Linhart, famous detective. And I said, Michael, and he was my best friend, I had a dream that I have a daughter. She was introduced to me by this woman. I didn't want to say angel because he didn't believe in that. He was atheist, agnostic, I said, will you help me find her? And he says, well, who was okay? So he started doing his detective work. He says, well, do you have any suspects as who the mother can be? I said, yes. And he started doing his detective thing. See? 2 weeks later, he said, I'll do this for free. 2 weeks later, I get a call from the mother, Patrice Hansen. Ring, 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 ring. Hello? Hello, my name is Patrice Hansen. Do you remember me? And I says, yes, I do. And she says, I have something very important to tell you. I says, I know, we have a daughter, don't we? And all of a sudden, it's like, shh, I get the energy from it. She says, how did you know? I said, but I had a dream 2 weeks ago, and I just got my detective friend on trying to find you. You know, I said, how did you get my number? And she said, I got it from the gallery. See, the Rosamond Page came out in 1997, and my daughter's teacher Googled my famous sister and found that the gallery had just reopened. So where does that come from? See, that's not linear history. That's not, lining up your ducks from A to Z. This is what Charles and the bio people want to do, see. They want to take all the psychic juices out of there, all the LSD flashback residue. They want to take all that mental illness out of there. I'm not going to let them do Lucia Joyce. I mean, I will march with a sign. They don't get her, see. So they take all that out, and what you get is just like the crab shell. All the meat is gone. And this is not reality. This is just the shell of reality. See, all the meat of reality is in a world, in a universe, the Godhead, the heaven, the psychic inner being of our human being, our human nature. This is where we live. And all LSD did was focus on that, say, yes, it's there. It was the proof it was there. It wasn't heaven, it wasn't hell. It activated these spaces that people have been aware of since the dawn of humankind. And all our art and our literature, well, not all our literature, and so it goes. You just take shields, and so it goes, and just, throw it on the freeway and let them, in the LA freeway, let the cars and trucks run over that thing, No, see that, you're trying to destroy me in my book. Well, it is the destruction of a human being in there. It's evident. And looking at this YouTube of Shields marching up on the stage, trying to channel Vonnegut. I'm Vonnegut now. I took his being in my being. I'm Vonnegut. Well, no, you're not. You're the guy, the cannibal Wade Vonnegut. And now you've got some of his power, and and you're running with it too. Well, you ran right into me. Oakland Johnny, Cosmic Police Force. I do this routine on Blue Boy, Dragnet. The Blue Boy took this LSD. I wrote a poem about it. I had a following. I did this hat. I dressed what's my moniker for that guy? Johnny of the Cosmic Police Force, or Sergeant Johnny, or Cosmic Police Force. I come in with his hat, badge, and my blue suit, and you're all under arrest. Could have been a pyramid. See, this is what you get. See, what you're seeing is a guy foot down on LSD. This is the kind of mind you get. See, we need to see the results. See, for posterity. This is a record, of an original hippie who took LSD and flipped out. It's so bad. You really, you have to get rid of this history and destroy it. Well, keep Hitler's shit. Keep that shit. That's good. You have to get rid of me, expunge all my history so it won't fall in the hands of the children.